go live. So just wait for that. And we are live. Now what happens, we make this big so we can see ourselves. There we go. See, we're up, we're live. That's the time. So make this a bit bigger and we can see ourselves there. So that's us. And this little picture here, that shows how many people are watching.
One so far.
One person, I know. It's good for me.
Wait, is that us?
No. Oh, no, there's 5.
5.
And down here in the comments, this is where people say hello and where they write things and stuff like that.
I can remember at some point in one life, they were just coming down like bullets and you couldn't read them all out. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 8 watchers now. 10.
Yeah, see, it grows. Right, so then we say hello to everyone. So we say hello to Laura, hello to Teresa, Rachel, Louise. Louise has said, good evening, Joel and son. Laurie's here, so say evening to Laurie, to Diane. Yeah, and Laurie said evening, Jonah. She knows your name. So join Joel and
Join Jonah?
Join Jonah. You can't steal my join. It's my join. It's my hashtag.
There's 15 people watching now.
There is. Look, see. Oh, little helper tonight. He's just about to go to bed in a second. I've literally just had to use all my negotiating skills to get him out of his den to go to bed, because you wanted to sleep in your den tonight, didn't you? But you can't sleep in it until Saturday. So you're about to go to bed, aren't you? Yeah.
But I'm waiting because Delaney at the minute in a tantrum.
Yeah, his sister's beating him up a little bit, so he's come to the safety of Daddy. But you're going to go to bed.
And now there's 16 people. No, 16.
Yeah, well, there would be more, but they see you're here, so they've gone off. They're bored. Right. Should we say goodnight? Yeah?
You want to watch a bit of
No, I need to crack on and do my live, so it's time for you to go to bed. Okay, ready?
18.
Cool. I've gone up. I'll see you later. No, Laurie, no, because he'll be here all night. Hold on, let me shoo him out of the room. Go on, shoot. Right, I'm back. Okay, hello. So yeah, I've just had to coerce him and his sister out of their den, and ready for bed. So they're up to bed now, and his sister's having a meltdown because she's not allowed to play in her den and sleep in her den because she actually has to sleep in her bed this evening. So she's having a meltdown. For those of you out there that have kids, you will appreciate exactly what I'm saying. Okay, I've got no plans, unprepared, unscripted. Unprepared, unplanned, unscripted. So whatever you want, really. Photos of the den. I have got a photo of the den, funny enough. I'll show you the den. There is the den. It's a bit reflective. There you go. That's a bit better. So that's what the den looks like at the moment. And that's what it looks like inside of the den. They've got candles in there. They're playing cards. They've got their dolls in there, their teddies in there, weapons for some reason in case they get attacked by the baddies. So all sorts in their den. So that's what it's like. TripAdvisor. Oh my God, wasn't that huge this week? Wasn't that huge? Hey Maurice, not in the caravan this week, which is cool. A bit windy and wet as well this week, so I bet you're glad to be back at home. TripAdvisor I don't know if you all saw that, so I guess I'll talk about it quickly. So last week, I think it might be Thursday, Friday, I just had a random email from TripAdvisor saying, hey, congratulations, you won an award. So I opened it, and sure enough, there it was, saying that we were God, I keep forgetting what it's called, which is really bad. We're in the top 10%. We're a Visitor's Choice Award, so we're in the top 10% of attractions worldwide. That is based on what people say about us, not what we say about ourselves. And to be honest, those are the accolades to get, because that's not based on anything that we say or anything we can control directly. It's all down to people leaving reviews. And ultimately, you can't win that type of award. You can't get to that level if you don't produce something great. You just can't, because whilst predominantly people leave positive reviews and negative reviews, the way that it's worked out and the ratios, you have to have such a high level of good reviews to get there, that if you don't deliver a good service, the negative ones will just pull you down. So yes, that was really cool. Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave and Viv, the ones you talk to by the gate entrance. So Dave and Viv, I've seen at the prison a couple of times now at Shrewsbury, who are a lovely couple that come in and see us. And I've spoken to them a few times. So in fact, Dave's got some amazing tats. Let's have a quick look. So yeah, we got that for Shepton for TripAdvisor, and then randomly we were looking through the Shrewsbury TripAdvisor stuff, and it pinged up for Shrewsbury as well. So we've actually got it for both sites. That we've got the Visitors' Choice Award for 2020, which is fantastic. That both of our attractions are at that standard, which just goes to show. And to be honest, I'm going to be a bit cocky and a bit cocky here. I'm going to blow my own trumpet and beat my own chest. That's how good we are. It is literally how good we are. That both Shepton and Shrewsbury have Visitors' Choice Award recognised as the top 10% of attractions worldwide. On top of that, Shrewsbury is recognised as the number 6 dark tourism destination in the world. Shepton is the most haunted prison in the world. We've got some lovely accolades because, to be honest, we're really bloody good at what we do. But as always, the credit's got to go to the team because they're the ones that deliver it day in, day out. Unless you were at Shrewsbury on Tuesday, in which case you'd have seen me in the restaurant taking orders, cooking, taking food out, clearing tables and washing up. So back to my old days of being a chef, which is, yeah, that was exciting on Tuesday. It was stressful because I had a lot to do, but exciting. I'm drinking tea today. So that's it. So that was a good one. Louise is asking, did I email that film company that owed me money for the film that did Shepton last year? Did you hear back from? I haven't emailed them because there's no point in emailing them. We've gone well beyond all the emails. It sits at the moment with the bailiffs. So we're just waiting for the bailiffs to get to a point where they're able to go knocking on doors again and chasing debts, which I think they are back able now. I think they're now able to do that again. I imagine they're just prioritising the way they do it. To be honest, I've got the video here. Actually, I haven't moved it since last week. I think the likelihood of seeing anything from that is very, very slim. I spoke to Charlie, who's our site manager down in Shepton. He's actually bought that as well. So the only two sales is probably me and him. And he's watched it and he says it's shit. Like it's proper shit. He said don't even waste your time watching it. So we're not gonna see anything from that realistically. How did the leaving do? How did the leaving do for Chrissy go? Do you know what? Laurie's saying, how did the leaving do for Chrissy go? It was really good. It was really nice. It was really tame for us. Now, normally when Chrissy and I drink, and Emma and Chris, yeah, there's a few of us that get together. It normally descends into chaos. So Chrissy and I together are pretty bad anyway. You throw Emma into that mix and it starts to get a bit messy. And when Stacey and Tim join in and the 5 of us are there, you know, chaos does ensue. And it did start that way because we started hitting a few tequila shots to begin with. But because we did it just after work, so I think 6 o'clock we started and we petered out by about 10. It was always planned to be just kind of drinks and just hanging out and just chatting really and stuff like that. So it wasn't a huge drinking session, which was quite nice actually. I produced a video for Chrissy, which was about 10 minutes long, and it had thank yous and little video clips from all of the staff from the entire team at the prisons, just basically saying thank you and goodbye and wishing her luck and stuff like that. So that was really cool. We got to make her cry, so that was emotional for her. And I was running a book on at what point she would cry, so that was okay. We did she wasn't pleased about this, but we did a Dalmatian puppy piñata, and I used I got a massive, in my office I've got an absolutely huge prison stave, so it's a massive one, it's a proper riot one, a real riot one, so it's solid metal basically, and it must be, I don't know if you can see, but it's long, it's a big long, Maurice will know what I mean, but it's a proper riot truncheon for the stave for going into riot situations in prisons. So I've got a shield as well, but it's in the museum. It was given to me by an ex-prison officer that had it. Right, it was the police that actually, sorry, that I think had it. So she used one of those, and she went at this piñata, and it took one hit, and it took the entire body off the head. It was just this head of this dog swinging, and her face when she took her blindfold off was just sheer panic and worry and upsetness from battering a dog. But she saw the fun side of that. We had a game of pass the parcel, more for the kids than for her, and pin the tail on the donkey. So yeah, no, it was a good night, and everyone enjoyed it. So it was good fun. So yeah, right. Anything particular that anybody wants to know or ask this evening? I haven't really done any questions for a little while, so if you guys want to throw anything out there, like I say, I haven't really got any. I haven't come into this with any plans at the moment. Do you know what? I haven't watched a documentary on Broadmoor, but it came up today because we had a production recce today. I'm going to be very careful about this one because I am sworn to secrecy, because you know how bad I am at saying things I shouldn't say. But we had a production recce today at Shrewsbury for a decent sized production, and that actually came up, and we were chatting about it, so I do need to have a look at it. Yes, Maurice, I think it is a sidearm baton, but it's a big one. It's a really long one. So yeah, so I've got those things to do. Let's have a look. Didn't go for a run tonight either. I've been running some mileage this week. I ran 9 miles on. What day is it? No, I think I ran 10 miles, 9 or 10 miles on Monday. I ran 4 miles on Tuesday. I ran 7 miles last night. So I've done about 21 miles in 3 days, which I'm really pleased with. I haven't run this evening since I just got back too late. My God, has my day been insane today. Oh, Dave, look at that. What a question. I think I saw you messaging that earlier in the week, and I will answer that for you in a second. Didn't get to go running today, so I'm going to get up tomorrow. Emma normally jumps on the treadmill about 6, half 6. So if I want to get on the treadmill tomorrow morning, I'm going to have to get up at 5, or I'm going to have to take the dog out for a run outside. Right, let's pick this one up. It's pretty worth watching and fun. I will have a look, Laurie. There's a couple of programs I want to see actually. They're out at the moment. Dave's asking how many night behind bars we've got at Shrewsbury this year. We've got 4 this year. We're only going to put 1 on, and it sold so well that we put 4 on. So we've got 4 in September. I think they're all sold out. But I can have a look in a second. I can pull up the tickets and have a look. But I think they're all sold out at Shrewsbury. I think Shepton sold out as well. But we are starting to take. You can book anything you like for next year. All the stuff is up for next year, and I think April's already sold out for night behind bars. We're going to put on a load more prison breaks, 3 more prison breaks for this year on top of everything we've already got, because so many people want to do them, which is brilliant, excuse me. And then we're going to, obviously, prison break runs every month anyway, whereas night behind bars only runs April to September because of the weather. It gets too cold in the winter. Right, Dave. So, David, I had a question. How come students get discounts and Her Majesty's Armed Forces don't for your prisons? Well, they do. So we do a few different types of discounts. I think you emailed in earlier this week about that. I think I saw it on the Facebook messages. So apologies if it wasn't you, but somebody else asked that. We do a student discount, we do an OAP concession discount, we do a disabled discount, a carer discount, and we do a blue light card discount. So as long as you fall into the blue light card categories and you've signed up for it and it's free, then you do get a discount. And I'm pretty sure, I'm just going to pull it up, the Army is in there. Let's have a quick look. Certainly the Reserved Armed Forces, Royal Navy, Search and Rescue, Royal Marines, Royal Air Force. So I'd imagine most of the services, HM Armed Forces, HM Coast Guard, HM Armed Forces Veterans. So yeah, if you're in a blue light card category, then you get a discount. That's absolutely fine. And we try and do that, and that's, I think somebody responded initially to say it's because we do the concessions on low income. That's not true. Income doesn't really come into it for us in terms of the way we do our discounts. We actually do our discounts based on the blue light card is all based on public service. So if you work for the public services, the armed forces, police, NHS, stuff like that, then obviously you get discount. Students, because of the fact that they're students. OAPs, and actually we do our concession discounts for OAPs at 60, not 65. We don't faff with retirement age. 60, you're in the discount category. And we do it for disabled and we do it for carers. And that's actually a really controversial one. So I might throw that out to you guys and see what you think, because we're going to have a discussion. We've got a meeting about this next week because somebody was complaining. I say complaining, that's maybe a strong word. They certainly highlighted and flagged to us, and it's causing us to, or it's instigated another meeting internally about the fact we don't do carers for free. We do carers are discounted, whereas a lot of places and a lot of attractions do carers for free. When they obviously come with somebody that's disabled, because they're there to support the disabled person. We look at it slightly differently in the sense of, as a carer, you may be there to look after the person you're caring for, but you're also going to experience the attraction as well, especially on a guided tour and on a self-guided tour. So therefore we do have a charge for it, and there's another reason for it as well. So I'd be really interested to hear people's opinions as to whether they think we should, whether carers should go free, or whether carers should pay but pay a reduced amount, or whether they should pay full price. I'd be really interested in your thoughts on that. Sorry, Stacey's just messaging me. So I'm sure we'll come back to that. Let's have a quick look. Mufti days. How close are we to opening Victorian cells? If you mean the Georgian cells, Dennis, I was down there today, funny enough, because I had to do some work as part of the eventual purchase of Shrewsbury. He says every single week. I know it's a rolling joke almost. I had to check the tunnel entrance from the boiler house today, so I was down there earlier. It still is the same situation. We've still got to get everything out from underneath. So that's, there is a big job to do, but our plan is to get those tours started certainly in the spring. And we do have a number of things we'd like to do to make them more accessible, and that is a key thing for us. Shelley, hello Shelley, I hope things are going well. I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks or spoken, so I hope things are well your end and with Worcester Uni. That's not Worcester Uni, I do apologise, Wolverhampton Uni, oh my god. Wolverhampton Uni, it's been a hell of a day. I've never run a half marathon or a marathon. I've never had any ambition. I don't even like running particularly. I ran 10 miles for the first time I think 2 weeks ago, and that's the furthest I'd ever run. I've run it a couple of times since. I've done a couple of 9 milers, a couple of 7 milers. I think maybe next week, maybe on Wednesday, I might try and crack out a 12 miler. I don't think I'll hit 13, but I think I'll go for 12, because Mondays and Wednesdays the kids are at gym, so I've got a good sort of 2.5 hours when I get back from work before they reappear. So I've got some time that I can just do whatever I like without being disturbed or obviously not seeing them. So let's have a quick look. Oh cool, Chris, you're coming in for the first Night Behind Bars. I'm going to be there for the first one. I'm definitely there for the one on the 19th, and I may well be there for the other ones. No, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. People talking about. I haven't been on my Heelys this week, but I love my Heelys. I don't know if you saw the photo I posted earlier this week with the little gems. I talk about the prisoner files in a second. Maurice will have an opinion on that for sure. But yeah, there was that lovely little post-it note. I know you wouldn't be able to see this. It was a bit cheeky of me. The Sting, which is a escape room at Shepton that's been designed that we're looking to launch. My Heelys, because I'm a big kid at heart. Lauren and I have both got a set of Heelys, and we do chuck them on. The Prison Wing is amazing for heeling on because it's so smooth, it's so flat, so it is great for heeling on there. So we do chuck those on every now and again and go for a healing. We don't tend to record it. It tends to be something Lauren and I just do together for fun, really. Because like I said, I'm a big kid. She's definitely a big kid, so we do enjoy that. The execution window, funny enough, I saw that they posted a photo. I think the team posted a photo today of the execution room the condemned man's cell. No, it was last night. Sorry, the ghost tours on our Instagram page, Shrewsbury Prison Instagram page. They posted a window of the condemned man's cell, where it actually is, which is part of it is now a toilet, and you can see the windows missing. So if you come to the prison, Teresa, next time you're there, you grab a photo and post it if you wouldn't mind, to the group, or anybody's there. Have a look in the what is now a toilet next to the condemned man's cell, because originally it was one big cell, and you'll see there is a big gap in the window about that wide by about that high, and that is the window that I've got tucked away in my office. Like I said, there's some bugger tried to steal. It's about 4 years ago now. It must be coming up 3.5, 4 years ago. And they just picked the wrong day to try and do it. They did it on a day that Keith was there, and Stacey was there, and the last person you want to upset is Keith. He was on it, absolutely on it. But unfortunately, in the process of trying to steal it, they did break the clips, which are the big like metal bars that stick out of old windows. Like the old runners, effectively, so they snap those off, completely clean off, which is a real shame because it's just damage for no reason. And then the window fell out, so we took the window out, obviously for safekeeping. And at some point, we will put it back in. When we redo that entire room, that window will go back in. And the prisoner files, if you saw those, it still amazes me to this day that we get probably maybe a month, maybe every other month now, we'll get a random prison file sent through. And the way prison files, and Maurice will be able to hopefully confirm this for me, the way prison files work is when they're shipped from one prison to another, for whatever reason, either because a prisoner's been moved or because they've been released and they're going to storage, because some prisons have more storage space than others, what should happen is they get bound and they get put into an internal mail system, and they get written for exactly where they're going, who they're going to, and the person sending it, especially psychology files, which is what we've got a lot of, they're supposed to ring the other prison that they're going to and confirm that these are coming, and then they send them through an internal mail where they get signed for when they arrive, and therefore the process of transfer is all in-house. What we're having documents, we're having prisoner files turn up by Royal Mail, don't even need signing for, and it's filled with information. Like literally, I've got one of those files on my desk that you saw that's got to go to prison service, is from I'm not going to say well-known sex offender, but a sex offender that's been in the news, that you could tap into Google and you'd find loads of information about, and some people would recognise the name straight away. And it's got all their files, and it talks about the groups that they've been in. It talks about some of their behaviour and stuff like that. And it's got so much detail. And to be honest, I'm actually quite glad they land with us, because if they landed at a different jail that we didn't operate, or somebody operated that is connected to the prison service as well, because we're very connected to prison service. Emma, my business partner, used to work there in the psychology department. I've got a number of friends that still work in the prison service through some connections with Emma, the prison officers and stuff. So, and we're very tightly into it. But if it didn't turn up with somebody like us and somebody else wanted to just share it, God, that could be all over social media, and there's some horrendous stuff in there. So that's why it's quite surprising to me that actually still happens. And we've been closed for 7 years now. It's not like we closed a few weeks ago. But I'm just going to flick down and see if Maurice has responded on there, and I'll go back up. You do right in moving the records onto the prison that is open. Big thumbs up. The one on that one. Whoever's sitting in the records should know better. Yeah, absolutely right, Maurice. That's exactly it. It's moving them back to prison service. And in fairness, the people who move them out to prison-wise, they've put it into the internal system so many times. Every time we do it, they still do it. They've reported it to governors and deputy governors, but it happens. Which is crazy, because there's not that many prisons in the country, but yeah, unfortunately it does. So somewhere people, I guess, think we're still listed. Right, let me have a quick look. There's a defence discount card, also known as a veterans card. I haven't seen that on Maurice, but I'll ask the team to look at it. There isn't a fans discount, Teresa, but you should buy a membership. I keep telling you that. Let's have a quick look and see if anyone's cared. Darren, all disabilities are visible. Absolutely, totally agree. Couldn't agree more. Not all disabilities are visible. Absolutely, that's right. Doesn't answer the question about whether carers should go in free or not. However, I love the fact, Dave, that you're going on your honeymoon to Shepton. Are you going to Shepton for your honeymoon, or are you going on your honeymoon to Somerset? And you'll have a great guided tour. Let me know which day you're going, and I'll have a quick look and see who's doing your tour. Teresa should have a discount. If she had a membership, Teresa, she'd go free. Oh, sorry, Louise. She, I mean, to me, memberships. If you're going to come 3 times a year, it's £15 if you pay on the day, £10 in advance, £45 for an annual membership. If you don't take an annual membership, it's just the smart way of doing it, because 45 quid. By the time you get onto your 4th visit, you're back into a benefit, and you can use Shepton as well, and then you get discounts on everything else you book. And on merchandise, and very soon food as well. Like, you'll be kicking that in as well. So, yeah, it just makes sense to be on a membership. Absolutely. Worcester, sorry, Shelley. God, I must be well behind. I said that ages ago. Been decorating a lounge all week. The video is 23rd September, 6 p.m. for online virtual freshers. That's cool. Looking forward to that, Shelley. I won't be able to watch it, but I'm glad you got that there. Okay, Shelley's asking about doing video evidence for the Heelys. Lauren and I are both there for the first night behind bars, so we will get our Heelys out at some point, and we'll do it. We did talk about doing a live, but we're not sure if we're going to have time. So yeah, but we will do something on the first night. Yes, carers to have a reduced rate, not free as you say. They're a benefiting experience in the tour. The reduction acknowledges they may miss bits due to their role. Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's exactly why, Wendy. And I'll tell you one of the reasons that drove me to that decision rather than carers going for free. Is the blue light discount for guided tours? Yeah, blue light discounts. All of our discounts work across the board for tours, for the tours. Activities and events don't provide a discount because they're done differently. So all of our tours have a concession price, or certainly the daytime tours do, the self-guided tours do. I'm not so sure about the ghost tours and the lights out tours, but I know the daytime ones do. But things like Prison Break and Night Behind Bars are just flat rates across the board. People steal anything today. Yeah, they will, literally. Did I tell you about the Phil Collins CD that got stolen? I'll tell you in a second. I want to just flick through these comments so I don't get too far behind, but I'll tell you about... it's mad that somebody stole a Phil Collins CD. Jay, a 3-year-old, really enjoyed walking around the prison until we got to the hanging room, and he wouldn't go in, and then he screamed and screamed. Yeah, do you know what? I can understand that. My kids have been okay, because when I first moved up here, Jonah was, he was 3, 2011, 2013, he was 2. Jesus, Jonah has literally grown up in prison, so he's 7 now, but he was 2 when we first came up here. Delaney was 2, Delaney was 4. Now, they don't see any problems in the prison, because they've obviously seen us taking it back. They watched me strip out all the stuff out of the execution room and sort of lift up the floor. They watched us hang the nooses. They watched us put all the things in. So they've kind of seen it, and they've seen it kind of develop. So to them, it's not kind of like, oh my God, the shock of it. So I think it's a bit different for them. But yeah, I can totally understand that. We get people of all ages that get really shocked going into the execution room, and it's one of the areas that, as we develop the room further and we spin it more back to how it was once we own the prison, and we can do more interpretation space in there, it will be, I wouldn't say more shocking, it'll be more impactful. You will see things like, whoa, I just didn't realise that's how it was. But I think that's the power of dark tourism, and that's exactly what needs to be done, but it needs to be done in a delicate and careful manner, and that's what we really try and do with everything we do. So let's have a quick look. Rolf Harris. No, David, it wasn't Rolf Harris. It's not that well known. Are the prison records kept forever in an archive? Yes, I think they are. Maurice will probably be a better answer to that than me. I believe prison records are kept forever, or certainly for a long period of time, because obviously if you re-offend, those records come back out. And some prisoners have files like that big, like just tiny files, never re-offended, that's it. And other prisoners, I kid you not, have files that are like 4 foot off the ground because they've been re-offending from a very young age. And some of their files are massive. Teresa, am I offering a free one? I'm not, Teresa. Speak to Lauren. Lauren is the lady in charge of Shrewsbury. If I go giving away memberships at Shrewsbury or Shepton, Charlie and Lauren have to account for their budgets. They will be asking me why I'm giving them away. Right, let me just have a quick look at David for him. So you're going on a tour on Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Let's have a quick look and see who the tour guide's going to be. I mean, they're all good, so... Let's have a quick look. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Just wipe out Charlie's rotors for him. Next week, you've got Monica, David. She is a brilliant tour guide. She is absolutely fantastic. She gets nothing but 5-star reviews. Customers rave about how great she is. I've seen her tours and she is fantastic. So you will have a great time. Yes, Louise, you can visit as many times as you like with a membership at both prisons. There is no limits. Yeah, Shelley, we have looked at that, and that's something we're going to build up into the interpretation spaces again as we buy it and we develop it further. There's loads of stuff. So Shelley's asking about whether we've thought about doing videos of interpretation spaces, and I can't remember if I told you guys because I speak to so many different people about these things, but we've obviously got the press button interpretation spaces, hit the buttons. We're going to do videos of different people talking about their experiences and stuff like that. What I really want to do is get augmented reality going. I'd love to have projections playing of prisoners and prison officers and moving around and stuff like that, so you can actually walk through the projection and almost interact with it. So I'd really like to get some stuff like that done. So there's loads of things that we want to do, and again, it's all down to just owning it so we can invest into it and drive it forwards. A quick flick through. Yes, Louise, the memberships are self-guided tours. Yeah, Reggie Cray's record stood a foot tall. Reggie Cray's record wouldn't have even been that big, in fairness, because he did serve time in prison, but he obviously went to prison much later in his life. His actual police records would have been quite big, but I don't think his prison records would have been that huge. But some prisoners, they've been here for years and do lots of programs and stuff like that, will have huge files. Alex Whiteley in the house. Cool, I think I've got to the bottom. Cool. Maurice is taking over the questions here. I can just sit back and let Maurice go for it. What was I saying about the Phil Collins CD? So we used to do a tour. We did something called Dharma in the Dark. It was a 3-hour epic tour, and it was split into 2 halves. And we used to run it when we first opened, for probably about a year maybe. And basically the way it worked was the first half you spent learning about what it's like to be an officer at night, so very much like the Lights Out tour that we now do, and the other half was basically something I call Catch a Con, which is where you were running around the prison trying to catch a prisoner, which was actually Graham, Officer Goodwin, dressed in an orange jumpsuit, and you were trying to catch Officer Goodwin, and you had radios and maps, and you had to communicate with the rest of the people in your team and try and catch the prisoner, which was impossible because they know the site so well, they could just hide. I've seen Graham hide behind doors and have 7 or 8 people plough into a room, search the entire room, and not find him because he's tucked in behind a door that they didn't even realise was there. So, and with their torches and their radios and all buzzing each other, it's brilliant. So we used to do that. But anyway, on one of those events, one of the scenes that we did was about playing music too loudly in a cell. And one of the officers, a guy called Stevie D, he bought in a Phil Collins CD from home. Not the reason, it was just Phil Collins. So he stuck it into the CD player. We used that basically in the evening. We just used to play the music really loudly, and it was to kind of draw attention, so people had to go check the cell and see what was going on, type of stuff. That was it. But we used to just leave it in there in the record player all the time. So it was just a little CD player in one of the cells, Phil Collins CD in it. Anyway, one time it disappeared. We didn't really think anything of it. And then we saw a post on social media, and somebody was basically bragging about how they'd stolen this Phil Collins CD from Shrewsbury Prison whilst they were there on a tour. And it was amazing because they now had a CD that was owned by a prisoner that was in Shrewsbury Prison. And I got to be honest, I took great delight. I really did. I took absolute delight in telling this person that they hadn't stolen a CD from a prisoner in Shrewsbury Prison. They'd stolen a CD from us that we'd put in there in Shrewsbury Prison. But the fact that somebody stole a Phil Collins CD just goes to show, like, people will literally steal everything. And yeah, even so, even much more from a tourist attraction. It does happen, unfortunately. Right. I think I'm there for today. I don't think there's much more to cover. Next week, who knows? Maybe next week we'll be talking about the fact that I bought a prison. Maybe we won't. We'll see how we get there. Oh God, it's a little conversation between Laurie and Maurice going on. But like I say, anything that you guys want to go through, I think we're building up closer now to get back to some of the, to step away from the prison bit a little bit and talk more about some of the things I've done in the past. I think I would like to talk about my chefing days, because that's something that I thoroughly enjoyed. I'd like to talk about my sales days in Australia, because that's where I learned a lot of the techniques that I still apply today, and especially I think some of those are really true for what we do now in tourism. I'd love to talk more about dark tourism, about that as an industry, and things along those lines. And I've got so many things, so many policies that I would like to talk about for when I become Prime Minister. I've got an education policy all set, ready to go. I've got a corporation policy for businesses all ready to go. I've got a taxation policy, a retirement policy. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what else I've got. I haven't looked at agricultural yet. Agricultural, but I do need to. I've got something for housing. So yeah, I've got a number of things that I've kind of thought of, yeah, I'd like to speak about those at some point. So, and yes, Keely, you're absolutely right. Prison ticked off. We're not yet. We're kind of like we're poised to tick it off, and then it's to the castle. So yeah, but any heritage buildings? I've seen some lovely heritage buildings recently. So yeah. Let's have a quick look at the last comments then, and we'll call it a day. Chef sounds interesting. Being a chef's a great job. Hard graft, but amazing job. So maybe we'll pick some of that up next week. Run my own leadership course. I would love to do more public speaking. I would really like to do that. I think that's that's something I would like to do more. Maurice can't talk on a public forum. He's signed the Official Secrets Act. Yeah, you've got to be careful. Okay, guys. Student fees. Yes, I have got a policy on student fees. I think student fees are bloody ridiculous. But then I'm not a big fan of the education system as it stands at the moment. So I would overhaul the entire education system. And as I overhaul the education system, I'd also look to overhaul the corporation taxes and the business systems and working weeks, contracts for workers and employees, pension systems and pension schemes. I would do a huge overhaul in one go, but some things are very well connected. So to me, education and work are very connected, because obviously parents need to send kids to school to be able to work, so on and so forth. So yeah, there's a number of things. So yeah, but anyway, we could talk about this for a long time. So I'm not gonna go into that one too much. I'm gonna say goodnight. I will be doing stuff again, obviously at prison. I'm off this weekend, so won't be doing too much this weekend. And then next week we're leading into Night Behind Bars. So I'll be here Thursday doing Join Joel, and then Friday I'll be at the prison. Certainly there will be videos going out that night, maybe a live later in the evening with Lauren and I. And yeah, we're first of 4 Night Behind Bars. And hopefully we'll have some news about the prison that are coming up soon in terms of the purchase. So cool. Thank you guys once again for the questions and for listening to me, and I will catch up with you next week. Let me find the end button. There it is, and I will say